A Republican election official from Maricopa County, Arizona, has hit Kari Lake and her allies and some groups aligned with her with a massive defamation lawsuit alleging that Kari Lake's lies about the 2022 gubernatorial election in Arizona, specifically in Maricopa County, have caused this election recorder irreparable harm. Now, this, again, Republican election official in Arizona is Maricopa County recorder Stephen Ricker. Now, Mr. Ricker has said in the lawsuit, actually, let me just read this from Washington Post. In the complaint, Ricker alleges that Lake, her campaign, and a nonprofit organization tied to her repeatedly and falsely accused him of causing Lake's 2022 defeat. Lake and the two organizations, the complaint alleges, falsely claimed that Ricker sabotaged the election to prevent Republican candidates, including Lake, from winning. Ricker's complaint focuses on accusations made by Lake at campaign rallies, in podcasts, and on social media that Ricker intentionally caused polling place printers to jam on election day. The glitches caused temporary disruptions in tabulating the votes, but an independent review has found that the problems were not pervasive and did not prevent people from voting. I don't know why that would prevent people from voting, but no, they weren't able. Nobody was not able to vote, is what I was trying to say. But Lake has alleged, and she's named Mr. Ricker personally out there. She has put his name out there, whereas it was not out there before. She has said that this guy somehow got the printers to jam. Like, I don't know, he uses like techno wizardry out there to print ballots that were too big, so they couldn't go through the readers, not the printers, by the way. Like, the printers were where the ballots came from. They go into the tabulators. But either way, he didn't do that. There have actually been several independent reviews of what took place in Maricopa County, as this complaint alleges. Like, they all found that, nope, that didn't happen. And Mr. Ricker, of course, a Republican himself, would have no motive whatsoever to prevent Republicans from winning an election. That's just downright crazy and stupid. But it's Kari Lake we're talking about, so yeah. But it continues. Ricker also accused Lake of falsely claiming that he inserted 300,000 phony early voting ballots into the Maricopa County system. In December, a judge ruled that there was no convincing evidence that ballots were mishandled in a way that would have affected the outcome of the Arizona election. So, in addition to making ballots that are just too darn big, like, what do we do with these ballots? She also says, and he just put in an extra 300,000 for Democrats. That none of it makes any sense. And the courts have said none of this makes any sense. And the courts have basically told her legal team, like, y'all are lying about this. And so finally, Mr. Ricker at the end of last week, decided, screw this. I'm filing this lawsuit. And he's also said, this from him, my name continues to be dragged through the mud in front of millions of her online viewers in various platforms. And I felt that I needed to take the only course left. He said that he's tried pushing back against the false claims on social media and through memos, press releases, and news conferences. He said he worked with members of Lake's team to answer questions they had during and after the 2022 election. But he says that the misinformation spread about him by Lake and her affiliates has harmed his relationships with friends, his family, and his former political supporters. So this could impact his career, which, of course, is a criteria for defamation. He said he sees a direct link between rhetoric from Lake and her allies and the threats against him. So also receiving threats, about your physical safety is also, a criteria determined in a defamation case. And because these two are both technically public officials, the bar to prove defamation is even a little bit higher. But that's why I pointed out that last part. Because one, does it impact his future income based on these lies? Well, if he can't win another election when clearly this guy is, a politician, then yes, it does. So boom, he is a valid case. That public standard is kind of already overcome there. Second, because there's also threats against his personal safety, that also crosses that bar. So I think that Mr. Ricker here has a very strong case, and I do think he's going to win, especially because, as they mentioned in the complaint, she's doing this in rallies. She's doing this in interviews. She did it on podcasts. She did it on TV. So they're pointing out this whole little tour that Kari Lake has done trying to become famous after her loss. And that quest for fame is going to end up costing Kari Lake greatly when this lawsuit finally reaches a conclusion. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel. We also encourage you to like, comment, and share. But again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.